Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Well, see, that was my glitch. They told me don't touch the buttons, and I really work hard to not touch the buttons. Welcome, everybody, to the program. Oh, we got some power hitters on today. And see, this is how to come I know I'm good at what I do, is because they've been on the program before. And they didn't say, oh, here ain't going back on Melissa. You know, she got crazy out there in Deep Third someplace. And the fact that your PR lady, Miss Cynthia Busby from Busby Promotions, she said, you guys actually wanted to come back with me. So, see, this is going to make my head real big. See, I'm just like, and this is Mr. Brian Townsend and Miss Catherine Irving, and you guys are just doing some awesome stuff. And did we even talk about the newspaper business that you were in, Brian? From the other day?
We talked a little bit about everything when last time we were here.
Well, see, that's what we do. Well, tell us about it was a big thing that's coming up, what you guys are working on and being able to present to the public and why it's important. Thank you both for joining us.
Oh, thank you so much for having us. It's always good to be with Mother Love. And so we appreciate you very much. We're working on this anti-hate concert that we're hosting at Cal State Dominguez.
Wait, hold on for a minute. Brian, can you speak up a little bit?
Sure.
Okay.
I hope so.
There you
go. We're having an anti-hate concert at Cal State Dominguez Hills on Friday, September 6th, next week, on campus at the University Theater. It's a free concert. It's going to be dance, spoken word, song. Dwight Tribble is going to be there. He's well known in LA. We're going to have actors, Ron Berglass and Joyce Lee. It's all about combating hate. It's about providing resources so that if you're experiencing hate, how can you recover? How can you receive resources? And so this is our third concert on anti-hate in Southern California. And we're just really excited about this one.
So what made you guys decide to sit down and say, this is something we need to do or have to do? Or was it a combination of both of those? We need to do this and we have to do this.
It was a combination. You know, what happened is that California has an anti-hate campaign, California versus hate. And we were doing stories about that. We've done stories about different events that they've been hosting, their mission, their strategy to combat hate, especially during the pandemic and coming out of the pandemic. And we just wanted to figure out a way that we could do more than that. So we reached out to the state and provided this scenario where our newspapers would host events as well as do stories regarding anti-hate. And we're now part of the campaign.
So now, Miss Catherine, thank you so much for joining us. What attracted you to the program? Or were you in this collaboratively before you went to the state to tell about the program?
So, Brian and Maura Townsend and I have collaborated before. And when we had a conversation about the California versus Hate campaign and the fact that, of course, there will be many different ways that that information will try to be spread. But what we thought we could bring to this particular motion, to this program, was the idea and the opportunity for artists to step out against hate. Because, artists, we're not going to just talk about it. We're not going to write great essays about it. We're going to be about it. And we're going to show that through dance, through spoken word. And this one, the third collaboration that we're doing, we are really excited that we have Dwight Tribble with us. I don't know if you know Mr. Tribble. He's an internationally known American jazz singer. He's a legend in Southern California and everywhere for his vocal skills and vocal stylings. And he will be part of helping us. His message has been, all about love all along. So we're really excited that he's going to join us to help promote this idea that you can do something against hate, and that it's a powerful, hurtful emotion. And there is a powerful, appropriate response that you're going to see in this performance on Friday, September 6th.
You just said and you did it so eloquently, because
Thank
we
you.
do have to go through the pain if we want to get past the pain. You have to sit in it. And well, for me, when I had to sit in it, the arts were there to help me through that. Listening to the music, listening to the
Yes.
poets. And I'm old school. I'm a baby boomer. So I remember Gil Scott Heron and the Last Poets, and always, Curtis Mayfield. Who could make he would take poetry and put music to it, and how much that helped me personally. So I know if it can help me, and as spastic as I am, to be able to go into the communities and to go into the schools and get the young people involved, because who will have to clean up this crap show. It's going to be
Yes.
This is what we do. That's why I got some big red boots I keep in the closet, because I get like the fireman boots, because we're gonna have to step into it. And we cannot be afraid. You cannot be fearful. When did you know, Captain, that you were not gonna be, because this is a big giant thing that you guys doing. I know y'all are all sweet and kind and just lovely personalities. Brian just got that face that say, "Come hug me, baby. I'm all right." But when you think about it, you got to get in here and get down and be willing to have some skin in the game. Brian, when did that jump up for you? And did it jump up for you, or did you jump on it?
Well, I just reacted immediately. Once I heard about the campaign for the state, I knew that we had to be part of the solution, not part of the problem. Because if you're not doing anything, you're part of the problem. And so, when the pandemic hit and there were a lot of anti-Asian attacks, because they kept calling it the Chinese flu and other things. And all of our communities are under attack. The Black community, more than anybody else, is always suffering from hate incidents. There are gender incidents, LGBTQ.
Oh, yeah.
Latino.
Yeah.
So there's just so many, there are so many communities that are under attack, that they're trying to figure out what can we do, not only to stem the problem, but where can we go for resources? If I'm attacked, there are ways to go to the state of California. You can talk about the incident. You can do it without giving your name and address. You can do it, on the side, so that you can be, you won't be fearful about talking about the incident. They have resources for mental health. They have resources for you to recover from physical injuries. So we just want to give out all the information that we can to let people know that there are ways to fight hate beyond just talking about it. If you see it, say something. There are ways to do it. They have a hotline that you can phone in your concerns or your experience. So we just want to get all that information out next Friday. It'll be our third.
I am so glad, Brother Love, that you called out my people, Gil Scott, Curtis Mayfield, Sun Ra. That the outspokenness of those artists in that time is mirrored in the outspokenness of these artists that we're presenting September the 6th. And the thing that was so appealing to me was the opportunity to reach out to some dancers that I had some familiarity with and say, here's what we're doing. And for them to come back and say, oh, I have the perfect piece. I've got something that speaks to, the awfulness of domestic violence. I've got something that speaks to the prayers that need to go up for the members of our community that have been hurt by hate. I've got something that, so it was very reaffirming to learn or to, recover that these artists are still active in that same way, are still speaking out, are still helping audience members to say, that's right, this exists, this is true, I really feel this.
And
you know what I mean?
We have to fix it. You can't pretend that it's not happening. And even we are in the 21st century. Do you guys realize we have lived in 2 centuries?
Yes. Too, right?
So just having to grasp that. It's important for us to make sure that our foundations are straight and strong. So, because these young people coming up behind us, just think about how far along we would have. Big girl, could you have imagined if you had a computer, a laptop on your desk, and you got this instant gratification, and you could get the information like right away, and AI is making this just so, it's like Star Trek. But we saw this when Star Trek was coming out. They knew this new stuff we seen. We saw the flip phone. We saw the beam me up, Scotty. They act like they invented this. No. There's nothing new under the sun. If we'd have thought about it, somebody else thought about it, and somebody else will think about it. And so that's why it's important for us to hold on to these needs and understand. Yeah, we got people hate. What the kids say, we got hateration, and we try to make hateration cool, and it's never gonna be cool. And also,
that's right.
If somebody's not talking about you, you're not doing something right.
Yeah, that's one thing that's excited about us having it at Cal State Dominguez Hills, because I think the young people are getting more and more engaged.
Mm-hmm.
And so not only will the community be able to come on campus to enjoy the concert, we'll have students that will be able to come and just energize themselves to protect their own campus community, and then maybe even go outside the ivory towers, as we call it. So it's important to engage the students at this point, because there's so much.
One of the faculty members at CSU Dominguez Hills, Shante Caballero, who is a faculty member in the Department of Theater and a really important presence in our region. She has been, for the last 2 years, the regional coordinator for the Kennedy Center American College Theater Festival. She's a brilliant one of the brilliant artists at Cal State Dominguez Hills. There are others that we reached out to who were not able to participate, but she's gonna be able to bring something to the conversation, to the presentation on Friday, September the 6th. And we're really excited about that. And also, as Brian said, the opportunity to reach a population in an area. The beauty of the proposal was not just that we would do one concert, that we would do 3, and we would do them in 3 different regions, primarily based on where, Brian, you've developed an audience through the newspaper. Am I right?
That's
Did I get
correct.
that right? Yeah.
Let's talk about the newspaper, because this is a big cheese. Make no mistake. He all, kind of, like I said before, he's a lovely man, but you a powerhouse out there, and with these newspapers, and especially at the rate that our local newspapers are dwindling in readership or just being dissolved altogether, because people don't know where they can go for the outlet, and you have created this outlet. Because I understand you was knee-high to a grasshopper when you got off into the publishing world.
Exactly. I've been in it all my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
We started the paper 60 years ago. My father founded the Precinct Reporter in San Bernardino. It'll be 60 years in 2025. And so we'll be celebrating all year because of that.
I was going to say, I know we're having a party.
That's right.
I know. Did you hear what I said? I know we're having a party.
You'll be there.
I didn't say y'all having a party.
You said we. Right.
Next summer we'll have a big party.
I try to infiltrate any place I can go, and I know it's going to be good. And the arts, I saw firsthand how important the arts were growing up. I played a B flat clarinet. My mother said, "You blowing all that wind, blow it into an instrument." I was like, okay. And I thought I wanted to be a tuba player until I couldn't even pick up the tuba. The thing was bigger than I was. So I went for the B flat clarinet, and I was played in the all city orchestra, all my academic, junior high and high school years. And I knew how much the arts were important to keep us, they say, keep you out of trouble. I got something, because idle mind is the devil's playground. I'm like, but the devil don't have room to play in my head. You make me go to school 6 days a week. What's wrong with you, crazy lady? I had a private tutor from the time I was 14 until I graduated from high school. I had to go to Saturday school all day like I was flunking or something. And everybody like, oh, you kind of slow. No, I'm there to, keep up with the work that I need to do. And I know how, and people don't, and there's so many creative people out here. They don't even understand the power and the creativity, and they don't even know how to get it out.
That's
You look at these kids that's painting up the walls with the graffiti and whatever. These kids are brilliant. You see some of these murals, and then there's going to be some boy that's going to come back and say, well, I'm going to spray paint over it. So this is what we have to do before they get to the point where they're thinking, I got to spray paint over art. What can I do? And everybody, tell me if I'm wrong, everybody can do something, one thing.
That's right.
One thing.
That's right. That's right. They can be expressive in some way. And we're hoping this event will help them understand not just expressive what I'm feeling, but expressive in a big way about what's happening, about what's going on in the world, that you have a voice. You don't have to stand out in the street and yell. You can dance it out. You can music it out. You can write it out. You can act it out. You know what I mean? That those performances are impactful. You mentioned Curtis Mayfield. I mean, whew, right?
People
I mean,
who
think
are
about
darker than
how
blue.
that influenced the whole
Oh my
music
God.
world. Okay.
When they made the impressions made, we people who are darker than blue.
Oh
That
yes.
became my theme song. That became my, they were y'all always trying to get us into something. I'm like, who are you sitting over here doing nothing? So why not do this? Why not?
Yeah.
Case in point,
Yeah.
had a girlfriend we grew up with. And we grew up in the projects, we hustlers coming out the hood. We do our thing. The best dressed people in the world are the ones that come out the hood. And so she didn't even realize she had a natural inborn skill set to be an interior decorator, to do interior design. Okay, so I'm trying to talk to her, okay, girl, you need to do something with this. You could go over her house and every week she done got the whole place rearranged. The blind person wouldn't have been able to stand a chance. And so I'm thinking, I know for her birthday, I'll get her a sketch pad and an easel. She could start with her sisters and brothers and us. Just take, I said, do it for you where you can redecorate the room for $100 or less. I mean, the whole thing. Get her a business plan and everything. And I was just gonna give her the stuff because I saw what she could do.
Yeah, yeah.
She cussed me out. Cussed me from an amazing grace to a floating opportunity. Who do your fat black buck think that I could do that? And all I did was I left it at her door. I couldn't do it. I can't even draw the stick figures well. And I flunked cutting. Cutting. I can't do the scissors. I could tear some paper and it looked like I flunked cutting. And she got so offended that I would say, I see this in her when she doesn't see this in her. And it just, I mean, I don't feel sorry for her anymore because she's still in the same place. 35, 40 years later, call her up. What you doing? Nothing. Where you going? No place. Who you met? Nobody. Okay, click. And she, why you hang up on me? You don't even have a praise report in your own life that you could share with me. She don't talk to me.
Well,
she told me, you think you better than me. I said, no, I don't. I think I'm smarter than. Matter of fact, I know I'm smarter than you, and that's what pisses you off. Because I get up and do. Because like you can't tell me, Brian, in the publishing world, in a niche market like that, I know you had some haters that say, we about sick of him. Where you think he's going? Why is he producing these newspapers? Shut up, mother love.
But
how do you deal with the people that mean good? And what the scriptures say, it's easy to love people that you love. It's hard to love people that you don't. And when you're in business, especially this close in the arts, where oftentimes you got to get up in people's faces, do the maneuvering, what have you. And that's what separates leaders from followers. And a lot of followers don't believe that they could be leaders. And I wasn't one of them. I was the instigator from the duration when I could walk and talk. And I've always had something going on. How important, I know it's important for you. How do you get especially the young people engaged in this world of artificial intelligence, and I can just talk to the computer on my phone and I don't even have to think about it?
Actually, to be honest, it's almost the other way around. Technology, technology to the young people is very easy for them to adapt to. I practically had to relearn my business. I've been in the business for all my entire adult life. And all of a sudden it became all digital. And how do you monetize that? How do you keep the audience? How do you keep them engaged? Some people still want a printed product. Other people want to just look at it on a computer or their phone. But we've had to be on all the different platforms. That was new to me. But what I did is actually I went to students and I helped them. I mean, I gave them internships, and in return, they educated me in return. So it's a duality. So, it's not a matter of getting them engaged. It's a matter of giving them a platform and an opportunity to showcase their talents.
And an opportunity to work with you to co-produce. I think oftentimes in the especially in the Black community, we have not been allowed the opportunities to see what you can do. You talked about your friend who had such creative skill, but had not thought about that as a career. And, fortunately, the education field is changing now. And we're starting to say, no, wait, the Imagineers for Disney, those are people that were doodling in class. Those are the people that were, seriously, they were out there on the playground with the chalk, drawing circles around everything. That's who got those jobs. So we have to do better at that. And some of the mentoring, we've seen, Brian, one of the individuals who's working with Maura Townsend Dance has been extremely helpful in putting the word out about this upcoming event. Mm-hmm. She's been my right hand because she can make the Google document and send things out en masse. I said, okay. So we have to do more. I think we've had to do more sharing. Mm-hmm. I also appreciate one of the dance companies that's performing with us, Brockus Dance, at the last concert, the choreographer was unable to attend because she had a previous commitment. So she sent a group that was composed primarily of emerging dancers. They were, wonderfully talented, but came in with every bit of professionalism, every bit of, here's what we're doing, here's what we're going to need. They were right on top of it, So I think we have to share the space with that youthful energy, and we have to be willing to say, okay, I'm with you. I don't know, artificial intelligence. That's what we used to call it when you didn't do your homework. You were using artificial intelligence. Okay, so I'm not, but I know people who are. So okay, you tell me what
I need to do.
Yeah, you tell, or better yet, let me tell you what I need, and you do it, right? And in that way, we encourage them. We encourage everyone in the community to be a part of the creative movement, to be expressive, especially about issues that are impacting us, right? We have this issue of hate in our communities. We need to not just feel bad about it, not just get down about it, but to say, no, we're not
going to tolerate it.
We're not going to tolerate it. And to get the tools and resources that will help us to be that proactive. And not everybody, Mother Love has the great backbone you have or the big mouth that I have. Some people need help, right? So the California Against Hate website is designed for that. We know these things are happening. We know that this is a terrible sore on our community, and we want to work against it. And here are the tools to help you do that. And some people will see these dancers and the messages that they're bringing. Josh Romero is the choreographer and lead dancer for Fuse, a brilliant dancer whose piece is all about his expressions against the hurt that's been happening in the LGBTQ community. I mentioned Brockus Dance, and of course, Maura has been an advocate. Maura Townsend Dance, she and I go back like car seats in terms of social justice.
Remember this with the car seat?
Right, boom, we go back.
You get all the kids up under your
right, we go back like car seats, yeah. But she's been a leader in choreographing, using spoken word, incorporating live music. She worked, we were reminiscing the other day. There was a concert some years back with Bill Cobb. Do you remember Bill Cobb? Brilliant Black performer.
Oh,
We've just lost him this year. Yeah.
Yeah, we were from the same town. I knew him in Cleveland when he was.
Oh my God.
And I was a member of the Harlequin Players at Caremoo House, and he would come in. I tell people I can act real good. I act like I like people that I don't like. No, I don't like you. Well, you just said, no, I don't like you. Why you don't like me? Because you got a bad smell and you don't mean nobody no good. You don't even like you. How the heck you gonna like me? See, I used to be like right there, oh baby. Nuh-uh. I'm
Yeah.
tired of them whining. I'm tired of them sitting up here thinking they don't have anything to do, asking a stupid question like, what is my purpose in life? If you don't sit down and listen to the universe, sit down and
Yes.
find where it is that you are scared the most. Because if you don't have a big spectacular dream, I mean, we could dream. And since we dream, why not dream spectacular? People live in this little small world. And
there's these organizations as well that, like you're talking about the Karamu House in LA, they had the Inner City Cultural Center.
Yes.
There are all these organizations that are trying to help you find yourself, find your talent, find ways to break out of and grow to the next level. And that's what, we even did that in publishing. When you go to a major newspaper, for example, or a news outlet, they have you chasing ambulances first or doing little, filing. When people come work for us, we send them out and they go do a story at an actual event. They take pictures. Their stories may run on the front page. So we give them immediate access to showcase their talents. And I think a lot of small publications, a lot of small outlets, a lot of small nonprofits, they really utilize the young talent out there.
Absolutely.
Give them a chance to showcase themselves.
Absolutely.
So I think it's very important.
And it's so important. I mean, I don't know personally where I would have been without the arts in my life. I never would have thought a little colored girl coming from the projects in Cleveland, Ohio, would love the symphony. I mean, my mother, she was just such an avid music fan. We didn't know what we were going to wake up to, if it was going to be Fats Waller or Miriam McCall, or, you know who I'm talking
Mary
about.
Makeba.
Thank you very much. This is another stuff. My father, God rest his soul, he was a member of the first African, what they called us Negroes back then, Negro scuba diving team. And how about that? Us, we talking about water. Look, I didn't like that first boat ride over here. I don't need to get on no boat. And so to be able to have been exposed to that, to scuba diving and learning to understand and appreciate the other living creatures that are on top of the water and up under the water. He was really emphatic. He had my mother about the environment. We ain't getting nothing about no environment. Turn that water off. You running wasting water. I'm like, we live in a project. And now I understand. And that's where we come in. What we have to do is keep a lot of those solid foundations from growing up to pass on to these young people, because this is going to be the future. We moving through it. We living a lot longer. 50 used to be the time when they thought you was going to drop dead. They talk about 50 is 40. I don't want to be 40 anymore. And so to be able to do this, when you see this now, do you guys do the auditioning for the acts? Or do you have somebody that does?
We were fortunate to have a network of artists. Maura, I guess, was the prime mover. That dancers, that companies that she had worked with, she had seen, and she would say, let me reach out and see if I can get them. And then some of the Shante Caballero is my colleague from CSU Dominguez Hills. I said, let me reach out to her and see if she can do a piece for us. In the first concert, Romaine Washington, who is the Inland Empire Poet Laureate, a contact so between us, we said, who can bring the message? You know what I mean? Who do we know that they're going to be all in? Because in all truth and honesty, even though we've done, this is our third version, we never have time. There's no such thing as enough time, right? So we always have to say, no, we want somebody who's going to be on board right now. We don't want to have to spend our time, well, please, would you come and do a concert? It's really going to be a good event. We don't have time for that. Because there are artists who are already all in, who are already like, yes.
You never really know until you reach out to ask who is willing to come into the fold with you. Exactly. And when you're coming, when you say you don't have time to be holding a hand and babysitting with him, okay. No. You got to get people who are already on your team. You just don't know it. You already got like-minded people who are willing to help you. And a lot of us are looking for an outlet as well. Where can I be the best service? Who can I talk to? Who can I help? Who else can I help? What can I do? Because I know a lot of these young kids don't even think about this. It's really not about you. It's not about you, Brian. It's not about you, Catherine. It's not about me, Mother Love. It's not about more. It's about our connection to the community, to families, to the earth, and to the world. That's what we bring to the table. And when more of us start linking up, and especially them people in your neighborhood, because I tell them, I don't want to hear the whining. Can you do it? And I'm not a micromanager.
Right.
If you come to me and you say, Mother Love, I can put on an event for you, and it's gonna be this, that, and the third, and I'm like, I'm not be calling you every 5 minutes. So, Catherine, what you doing? Where you going? Brian, are you helping her? Did you see something? You tell me you can
Right.
do it, I will believe that. I have no
Yes.
reason to not believe it. And we break that down oftentimes of that faith part, trusting one another, getting
yeah.
over that crab barrel mentality. And we talk about the hate.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all know, just like I know, there's a whole lot of people don't ever want to see us succeed. Don't even want to see our face, let alone see us succeed, let alone see us going from the White House. I mean, you think about our ancestors went from picking cotton to picking politicians and presidents.
That's
And
right.
they don't know what to do. They about to lose their mind. And that's why what you guys are doing is so great. People need to see the power
Yes.
that they have in the vote, and that we could break that wall of hate down. Even though it's like that elephant in the room, how you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
One bite at a time.
The LGBTQ community, which I just want to shut up, my love. Don't even let me stop.
Well, I think that's one thing that's been exciting for us is that, Kathy has been a great collaborator for us. We just turned her loose. We turned more loose. We bring people in. We trust them to do their part of the program. And so, I don't call Kathy every day. I don't say, have you done this today? Have you done that today?
Yep.
She doesn't call me and say, Brian, I need this today. I need that today. We just get it done. We just do our part. We know what we're supposed to do and we get it done. So it's been a very easy collaboration for a very important topic. So it's really been a good experience.
And you were talking about people who can who can do the work.
Mm-hmm.
It's been so wonderful to invite these artists to this event. And, I'm sending them an email that says this time, this place, we're going to have 2 chairs for you. There'll be water bats, whatever. But to see them come in and boom, they jump into that rehearsal. They know what they're going to do. They step out of the way. The next person comes into the rehearsal. They step out the way. And then the performance happens and they're stunning. They are stunning. They are bringing their A game to these events.
So this is gonna be a break your face soiree.
Yes, it is. And these are companies. These are world-class dance companies that you are going to see for free on Friday, September the 6th at Cal State University, Dominguez Hills in the University Theater. I mean, Brackus Dance has a reputation for curating the dance festival that takes place in LA.
Mm-hmm.
So their association with other artists and the skill level that they have. Mm-hmm. I mentioned Josh Romero Estrada and Fuse Dance and the level of work that he's doing. This is a new artist out of the Long Beach area, and of course Maura Townsend Dance and the dancer she collaborates with, and then Dwight Tribble, and then Shante Caballero. I mean, you need to be there. You need to be there. Okay.
So on that note, you should RSVP because we're going to have a pre-reception and a post-reception. We want to make sure that people are invited to that beyond the concert. So RSVP at 213-640-9394.
Oh, see, I'll get
Cynthia
that.
Busby. That's Cynthia Busby, our publicist. She'll take care of you. She'll make sure that you find your way to the theater and that you're taken care of.
That's my girl. That's my stick.
640-9394.
Say it again. I was talking over you. I'm sorry. Give the
213. 640-9394. Cynthia Busby.
9394.
I look forward to seeing you there.
Okay, what time does the show start?
Show starts at 7, a pre-reception at 6.
Okay.
And we'll be out by 9.
See, now for a lot of when people put these things together and you hope, you want to get all the glitches out in some kind of way, you run over. You run over time. I was at a
We have
concert. They
Kathy.
told her,
We have Kathy.
they told her last act, you got to stop playing because we short on time.
Okay.
I'll turn off the microphone. I've done.
See, just keep it real. Just keep it real.
Hey, I've had people on stage at other productions, and they'll say, we're not finished yet. I said, you have 5 more minutes. And then she said, we need at least 15. I said, the microphone is turning off in 5 minutes. You figure out how to close it, because that microphone is turning off in 5 minutes.
See,
so I'm not afraid to produce it.
You came from the same cutthroat school I did. I'm telling you this right now. You don't want to believe me, but I'm telling you this right now. Well, why you turn our mic off in 5 minutes? Didn't I tell you? Why you don't listen? Yeah. Why don't you listen? So what is the feedback from the audiences from your first 2? And what did you learn from the first one to the second one, and from the second one to this one about the process and about the crap that you have to go through?
Well, the feedback from the audience has been really terrific. The first performance that we did in the fall at San Bernardino Valley College, we included it in the evening an opportunity for audience members to share a story, a story with, someone, talk to someone next to them. And then, if there were 2 or 3 that wanted to share their story with the broader audience, we gave them that platform. And it was remarkable. The stories that we heard of things that, we've been talking about Curtis Mayfield, so we know we are artists of a certain age, right? But the stories of things that were happening to them now, today, that, I was backstage fainting, trying to believe that this is, that this is still happening in 2024, right? So that's, there was that piece of it. So we kept that as part of the second concert, the one we just did at Santa Ana College. And again, that, we learned a little better how to give the audience the moment to get their thoughts together and then express them. We also learned that we needed to do a little better introducing the artists, that we needed to spend a moment telling a little bit about each of the companies. So that's going to be a little different, and framing how dramatic the increase in hate has been. Making it a point to say that we're not talking about an isolated incident. We're talking about trends, particularly going into a political season. I'm not going to go all the way down politics. That's not my lane, but November, and you already see the mud slinging and
they not even slinging mud anymore. They slinging big piles of feces in the fan and want to get it on everybody. And we're not going to let it happen. I'm glad that they scared in their boots. I'm glad they shaking like a leaf on a winter day. I am so happy. And I know this is a terrible thing to say, but I got my Schadenfreude. You know what that means? It's a German word that they came up with to say that I will get joy out of watching you in pain. And I thought I was like, wow. I don't feel joy in watching them in pain. I actually feel really sorry for them, because they did not see this coming. And they don't see it coming with us. And they think we just gonna go in a corner and just be a little old people. And we know too much. We sing too much. Oh yeah, you better be afraid. You better be very afraid. That's right. Because we don't have time to be biting our tongue anymore. We don't have time to be, sitting over in the corner and go, oh, well, I'll wait till somebody else do it. I dare do it. They won't listen to me. You got to go do it. You got to go and do it. Everybody can't sing well. We can sing, but I don't do it well. Everybody can dance. I don't do it well. I want to see these artists move along. So maybe I find a way. We find a way to help them to get to where they want to go. And since, like I said, since you're dreaming, might as well dream big. If it doesn't seem like a big, giant, supernatural thing that you cannot do by yourself, that's when you got to go in there with the big guns.
Yes.
And we have to trust the people. And a lot of it, people think you're supposed to trust somebody instantly. That comes with developing a relationship with them, whether it's business, it's personal, wherever it is. You have to build and work on that relationship. And a lot of people don't want to do the work. They just want instant
Yes.
gratification. I'm like, do I look like artificial intelligence? I'm going to tell you straight up. And then, like my husband tells me, listen, remember, it's artificial intelligence, and we put the plug into the wall for that artificial intelligence. And I was like, oh, okay, I ain't scared of that anymore. It's going to be hell to tell the captain now. And I remember you said something earlier, Brian, about with all the new technology that you had to learn the business of your business into in the 21st century. And you said you didn't know what to do, you didn't know what to say. What allowed you to say? And you know how men are, you know, y'all arrogant and egotistical, and I like you.
No, not me. No.
I like a grown. Yes, you are, and it's all right, baby. It's all right, because if you ain't standing in the booth, that means somebody else got to do the double work. I'm a team player. I'm a good wife. I'm not a great wife. I should be on the first page of the wifing book. And to be able to
That's right.
And to be able to trust them and to be able to commune and to say what it is that you need without having fear of, oh, they're going to talk about me like a dog. They're going to ridicule me. They're not going to really want to help me. So I just won't even ask for help.
Well, you know, for us, you know, I had the realization that I have been a publisher for over 30 years, and I haven't worked for anybody else in over 30 years. I didn't know how to go. So if I lose my platform, I had to figure out how to go get a job. And I don't know how to do that. So I had to relearn my business because that's what I love doing. I love giving information, providing resources, providing advocacy. So there's still a role for that. You know, they call them newspapers because they still exist. We still have a printed product, but you know, we have a website. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on all the platforms. We're on LinkedIn. So whatever way we need to get the word out, we do podcasts now. You know, it's just you got to find ways to disseminate the information. My job is to tell stories. It's not a job to talk. I'm not supposed to talk about myself. I'm not always talking about the newspaper, our newspapers. But if you're doing something to build community, then it's my job to tell your story because I want to advocate for you to build community. I think that's a lost art. I think that's part of our problem is that, you know, we're hanging out with people that have like minds.
Right.
And that's not building community. You know, your neighbor may have a different mindset than you. But if you reach out to that neighbor and you find out how they exist, they're normally, you know, nice human beings. They just have a different thought process. And so you work through that and you find ways to come to a common denominator and you move forward. And so I think that's what we're fighting now is that we have all these cliques that are hanging out together, hearing the same disinformation. You know, if you believe what I believe, then we should be friends. But if you don't believe what I believe, we should be friends.
We can still be friends.
That's right.
You know, they used to tell us when we were growing up, you don't discuss religion, politics, and money. So soon as they said we weren't supposed to talk about that, you know, I had to go find out why I think about people. I had to go ask. I had to find, you know, and I wanted to experience what people were saying, and a lot of it was so negative about when I was going through my faith walk. When I was young, I was 17 years old. Well, you know, they forced us to go to Sunday school when we was little kids. And when I could make my decision to the way that I wanted to be faithful and to the universe, and I wanted to have that platform, you know, it was like, okay, you can't like them because they Muslim. Why you got that? What is wrong with you? You got white friends, black friends, red friends. My mother had the Rainbow Coalition before Jesse.
Exactly.
Her friends were from every walk of life. And she said, don't you ever be talking about people because, especially negatively, because you don't know if you're entertaining angels unaware. You don't know what that person can do for you. You don't know what you can do for that person or this group. So be able to keep your mind open and be cool enough and strong enough that when you say, yes, I'll do it, you do it. And you say, no, I'm not going to do it, I'm not going to do it. You let your yes mean yes and your no mean
no. That's
and you ain't got to come back with trying to convince me. Well, you know, mother love for me. That's not the deal. That's not the deal.
You have to have that conversation. You have to have the conversation
first.
I've had a lot of conversations where I am where I am politically, and somebody may be in the total opposite spectrum, and you just start talking. And at some point, you find some middle ground. I can at least meet you there. I won't agree with you on these other things, but I'll meet you there, and let's go work on this together to solve this problem. because we
Right.
both found this point where we agree.
Mhm.
And so
Yes.
you have to build community. You've got to find
Yes.
ways where your neighbors and you are making a better neighborhood.
That's right.
And you
If
need
you
to
don't
know
look
your
at it,
neighbors. I said I would never do this again. I will never ever live in another gated community. We're paying all this money, and then they got to pay money for the homeowners association for some such crap. And they told me I couldn't do this, that, and the third. I had to design my tree lawn like that. So, y'all talking to the wrong chick. We were the only people in the whole compound that had big, giant red double doors. And they kept saying, you have to paint those another color. I'm like, no, I don't. I don't have to do nothing. Stay black, die, and pay taxes. And two of them, I'm told how not to do, and that's die and pay taxes. So back your, they left me alone. They kept saying, that's the crazy lady. She crazy. Fine. I'll go with that. I didn't have any more.
But you had the conversation, and they met you.
Had the conversation.
They met. Yep. You had
and
the
it's
conversation.
Oftentimes it's a very hard conversation, and you have to kind of step back. Did you ever feel like, Brian, you had to step back, step out of yourself? And this is for you too, Catherine. Step back and step out of yourself so you could see what yourself was doing or saying or being.
Yes.
That's why open up your mind to that. You had to do that. I've talked to people that, when they say rednecks, I've talked to people that have a red neck. They literally turn red while we're talking to each other. But by the end of the conversation, we're friends. We just know we're different, and we'll find ways to communicate. But you have to have the conversation, and you can't be afraid to have the conversation.
You can't. That's what I said. You can't. You know what they told me fear stood for? False evidence appearing real.
Oh, that's nice.
How you gonna be scared? You can't be scared and think you're gonna be getting over. Not scared. Money can't win. That's why I don't gamble in Vegas, because I'm scared. I ain't that could be this juice store.
What'd you say? Scared money can't win. I like that.
Scared money can't win. If you're going into the the casino, or you want to make an investment in something, or you want to buy a car, but you sit there and you talk yourself out of it because you're scared. I'm so scared. I'm never gonna have enough. Well, if you believe that. You're right. If you believe that you're going to fail, you're absolutely right. If you believe that you could step in the gap and be successful, then you will do that. Step in the gap and be successful. Right. So if you're sitting there scared that, you can't robbing Peter to pay Paul. Don't get me wrong. I was there for a long time, and poverty just does not suit me well. It was bad for my complexion. It was.
So you find a way to get out of that.
Right. You brought up when the rednecks get real, they neck get really red when they're talking. I used to do stand-up comedy, and did the show at Altoona, Pennsylvania. You Google it, you're gonna be you took your crazy chocolate behind up there in Redneckville, straight up Redneckville, man. Yeah. Now, and it was a private club. And so I'm the darkest thing in there besides the bar stools. And I'm getting ready to get up on stage. And everybody, they kind of looking at me like, what's she doing here? She too dressed up. I know she ain't working here. What's going on? So they call my name. I get up on the stage and I do my tear the roof off the sucker. They jumping up on the first to get this. And I said, I thought they said rednecks didn't have no open man like that. And they made me, I'm an honorary redneck from Altoona.
All right.
And they looked out for me. They took good care of me. They said I was there for the weekend. And they said, baby, I just want to tell you this, child. It ain't a lot of people out here that's going to want to like you. And they see, they got to know what you do. He called his wife up and told his wife, Helen, you got to come down here to the club. They got the funniest colored girl I've ever seen in my life. She's a big old pretty thing. You got to come. She came in her big pink rollers. And she had on not a duster, but she had on a big soft cap. And I don't drink with them anymore. I would never drink with people in Altoona, Pennsylvania. That's how come I know they love me. I was drunker than Cooter Brown. I didn't know how I got back to my hotel room. I didn't know nothing. My husband said, well, how did it go? No, I don't remember. I knew it was a good time though. And the fact that they asked me back. So, and that's when you talk about breaking down those barriers, having those conversations. I just went in and did my mother love thing. I'm like, they all people. The chicks got to squat like I do, and all the dudes got to stand up like you do.
That's right.
Willing to have that hard conversation. What has been some of the hard conversations you've had to have with people? This is for you, Brian, first, and then Catherine.
Well, we have hard conversations constantly because there's so much.
I was trying to ease into it kind of quick.
Right.
I don't even know how to. I can't figure out an individual story to talk about that.
Mhm.
But right now my big push is on reducing the wealth gap. Now, there's a big gap
Mm.
in having the opportunity for generational wealth, and so how do we solve that problem? So I've really been working a lot. It's not a controversial subject as far as having beat up on somebody, but we've got to figure out that issue. And so I've been part of this group called the National Alliance to Reduce the Racial Wealth Gap.
Mhm.
And so we're working hard to build housing, because that's the quickest way to build wealth for our generations is to have home ownership.
Yes.
We lack that, and not all of it is a lack of access to capital, because many times we can find the realtors, we can find the neighborhood we can live in, but there's no housing available.
Right.
So now we're fighting we've got to build affordable housing, and so we're really dealing with public policy on changing zoning laws, things like that will help us build more housing stock, because we have enough people that have the financial wherewithal to buy housing, but the stock is low, and that's why these prices are so high, because there's not, if we had more housing, the prices would drop to be more reasonable. So we're in the process of figuring that out. That's my hardest conversation right now, is how do we build generational wealth?
Don't you think that that's where the trust factor comes in, where you start the conversations? Because when you're talking about generational wealth, especially in our community, I hear this all the time, even in the 21st century, and it's heartbreaking. Well, I got mine. Well, I got to reach back to the hood to try to help somebody else.
Right.
And I'm like, I did this all myself. No, you did not. You did not. You did not. Why you lying to yourself? What the guy on the cigarette commercial say? The worst lies you could tell is the ones you tell yourself. So as soon as you open up your mouth and say, I'm a self-made anything, you're lying.
Right. Exactly.
And so I called him. I said, so why you got to stand in my face and lie like that? You didn't do. Tell me what the teacher was and that inspired you to keep going. So you didn't do it. I said, you had to have a teacher. So you had to have your parents. You had to have your community. And I don't know how to just take that out, because that's where your foundation is. And that's why it's important for us. I talk about generational wealth all the time. I was telling this story the other day when we lived in a house. We had a house, and there was a corner store down the street, and it had been there for generations. And then the young kids, the next generation, the grandkids or the great grandkids, they didn't want to do that. They didn't want to come to the hood. They didn't want to stock the store. Okay, so me and my big mouth, I go to everybody on my street on both sides, and I said, listen, I want us to have a community meeting. You guys can come over my house. We'll have snacks and everything to talk about us buying the store and taking over the store. They looked at me like I had a big giant eye in the middle of my forehead.
Right.
And I was like, well, why you get to control the money? No, if we can put 3 people on the bank account. I said, go get a bank. Well, I ain't putting my money in the bank. And they were just throwing up obstacles after obstacles to not want to participate. And then when we sold the house and moved off the street, moved to California, they could have did the very same thing. And I found out you could be wealthy in any neighborhood. The more you have, the more you can help your community. When you talk about affordable housing, and on top of that, a lot of these kids coming out of college got these $250,000 weight on their back. They can't, they're robbing people to pay Paul just to try to keep the rent on. And they got to keep the loan going, and you got the sky high interest rate. We have control of that. You don't like the way it's going? Get out and vote. You don't like it? Get out and see somebody. Go to some other communities and see what they do that you could replicate. That can be, what's the word for scalable?
Yes.
Scalable. That we can all do. Just stop being afraid of each other. That's the part that I don't get. We're all in this together, y'all. We all in it. And listen, I don't know why they're taking life so serious, Brian and Catherine. Ain't nothing coming out of it alive. Not one of us are coming out of this alive. And
that is the truth.
I had an insurance. What is she? She's an insurance agent, and she said, and it's an African American woman, and she said the hardest part of her job is to getting Black people, Latino people, people of color, women to understand that they can do this. They deserve to build a foundation. They deserve to be able to leave generational wealth. and we got to pool these resources together. That's what
Mhm.
we got to do. That's what you guys are doing with the arts, what you guys are doing with this program. This is so now that we have the third one, but I know what it is. I mean, kind of sort of. Because you have California versus hate, and this is the artist against hate.
Right.
So
And
what's going to be? I mean, after this, we'll talk about this after September 6th. After this is a completely
Okay.
blow up. We just gonna have a good time and have everybody in the whole neighborhood. Tell your kids to come. You guys are like
Yes.
Dunkin' Donuts. It will be worth the trip if you don't live near Cal State Dominguez Hills. I live in
That's right.
Pasadena, and my husband will bring me there.
Great.
all right.
I can drive.
We're gonna be looking for you.
You're gonna have a wonderful experience
I
because
know I am.
the artists are when you watch the program on the stage,
Mhm.
it's so hard not to become engaged with what
That's
we're trying to
right.
do. Because
Right.
when these artists present their work, their artistry,
Mhm.
you really feel how it impacts you. You really see
Mhm.
you can see that they're really speaking to you, and that's why I
Right.
think when we had the audience engagement, they were really reacting to what they had seen on stage. They felt like they were in a safe space because they had seen all that expression
Absolutely.
on the stage. It's a wonderful experience. It's a
And
very
and
positive
and
experience.
their opportunity to say, no, that happened to me too. Right.
Uh-huh.
I'm a part of the conversation. We were talking about building community.
Mhm.
That what all the arts do is they bring people together in a space around an idea to say, I understand that idea was my idea, or that idea wasn't my idea, but wow, I understand so completely having seen this idea,
Right.
right? It may not be my favorite music, but I go and I appreciate, look at the expertise and skill of the players, look at how they're moving across the stage, look at the words that they're saying. So we're excited. Everyone who comes is going to have a wonderful experience, a moving experience, and is going to learn something
Mhm.
about
See,
the
when
important role we can all play against the blight of hate in our communities.
okay. See, I keep a box of tissue with me because I wear my feelings on my sleeve, and I want to be moved. I want that emotion. When you're putting on a production, you want people to
That's right.
feel something. Whether it's anger, whether it's responsibility, where if they're emotional or they're still all tied up like this because I don't want
Right.
nobody to see me in pain like this. Well, baby, you're not the only one. You are
Yes,
not the only
that's right.
one. I
That's
tell
right.
people this all the time. I see people. I see them and I can feel their spirit. And I can see light around them. Sometimes it's dark light, but I can see, I don't know why I can do that. And there's so many people who are so afraid of letting down that
Right.
personal silo that they built around themselves so they don't
Yes.
get hurt, so that
Yes.
they don't give their hearts away. And you see that's another thing in that fear factor. Yeah, life gonna kick your behind. You live long enough, but you won't let life kick your behind for the same mistake you made. Because that's
That's
stupid
right.
that you didn't learn from the mistake. And so many
That's
people are so afraid because I don't want you to know. And like I
yeah.
said, I can see people, and I go up to people, and I'll say, "Is there anything I can do for you? How you feel? Hi, baby." Just something simple like that. People didn't even know how you could change somebody's day just by
Exactly.
smiling at them,
Right.
just
Yes.
showing your
And
energy and your light.
and our two narrators for the evening, Ron Berglass and
Oh, wait,
Joyce
wait a
Lee.
minute, we get narrators. Oh, that's a
Oh
high class.
yes, and
Right.
they're both skilled professionals with a great. You asked me earlier what I learned from the performances is the importance of a person who can invite the audience to participate. And both of these artists, have film, television, stage performance experience, and I really will do a great job of making the community feel like the community. They're very skilled in that regard.
Well,
So,
I always felt like I was in your community, no matter where I live. You guys know that I am just so grateful and so honored to have you here. Tell people how they can get that and RSVP right.
Well, they need to call our publicist, Cynthia Busby, at 213-640-9394. The concert will be at Cal State Dominguez Hills Friday, September 6th at 7 p.m. Pre-reception at 6 p.m. at the University Theater. And we look forward to seeing you there. It's a free concert. You're going to love the experience.
Free.
You're gonna get a lot of
favorite
information.
four-letter word. That's my favorite four-letter word. Free. I'm telling you, I'm like Payless Shoe Source. I could pay more, but why? And that, we're gonna have to have another conversation because, and I cannot believe this went by so fast. I just started talking to y'all. Well, thank you both so much for joining us. Know that we love you.
Mother.
And remember,
thank you.
All the platforms I'm on, all the platforms Brian and them are on. And remember this: no matter how big or tall, short or small, thick or thin, it matters not what skin you're in. Everybody needs some mother love now and then. Peace.